You're listening to the Astrology Hub podcast, practical wisdom for living your life on purpose. Hi there, my name's Amanda Poole-Walsh, and I'm the founder of Astrology Hub.
And I'm Donna Woodwell, Astrology Hub's senior editor and master astrologer.
And we're here for your weekly forecast for the week beginning March 18th. All right, Donna, what is the big theme? What are we exploring this week?
All right. Well, the week's big event is certainly the full moon in Libra that's happening on the same day as the equinox. That's a double dose of cosmic energy on what astrologers call the world axis. Sounds like a really important term, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So there's almost a karmic feeling to the entire week. People may not realize that they're reaping what they've sown. So things come up, take responsibility, and you might find things go a little more smoothly for you.
All right. So if I had to sum that up, would you say that the overarching theme then is take responsibility?
I think that's a good way to put it.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the week ahead.
All right. It's a super slow moving Monday. So the moon's void, of course, most of the day. That means she's not making any aspects to any of the other planets. And so there's not a lot of oomph to carry new projects into manifestation. You remember, we've talked about it before. Void moons are kind of like the slack energy between two waves coming into the shore. And with nothing to push things into shore, nothing much gets done that's new. So it's a good time to tend to your own garden, so to speak. Now, the moon moves into Virgo by the evening hours, ending the void moon. So maybe Monday night, you might find the need to lay out your clothes for the next day, or make a plan for what you're going to do next, or, fold all the socks in your sock drawer, whatever. The moon remains in Virgo all day on Tuesday, and astrologers like to consider that productive time. And they'd usually be right when the moon is in Virgo, but I'm just not sure that applies this month. As I said, the moon is opposite elusive Neptune and retrograde Mercury in the early hours of Wednesday morning. So your best bet might be to just take it one step at a time and tap into your intuition, because all may not be as it seems on the surface of things. Now, Wednesday's got both of this week's big events, the equinox and the full moon, with the few supportive aspects between Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Pluto tossed in the morning hours to help you manage the rest of the day. Now, the moment the sun enters into Aries marks the equinox point, the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, the autumnal equinox in the southern hemisphere. And around this time of year, the days and nights are of equal length, hence the term equinox, which means equal nights. But the thing about the equinoxes is that the day's length is actually changing faster now than at any other point in time during the year. So it helps to think of a swing, one of those swing sets that are on, playgrounds for kids. Now, when the swing is up high, it actually sort of hangs there for a moment as it changes direction. But the point when it's moving fastest is when it's close to the ground before it swings up to the other side. And those changing directions are exactly the way the movement is happening in the heavens. When the swing is high up on the ends and it's changing direction, those are like the solstices. But when it's in the middle, traveling fast, that's like an equinox. So equinoxes are tricky combinations of finding balance in the midst of fast-moving change. Now, as I mentioned before, the equinoxes and solstice points are also called the world axis, meaning they are like the main axes of a personal chart. If you're an astrologer, this as the ascendant, the midheaven, the descendant, and the IC. But it's the places where things come into manifestation. In other words, things that happen around these pivotal points for the world have major impacts on the world stage. So the fact that there is a full moon in March in Libra falling directly on this potent world point is a really strong commentary on the state of affairs, not just for now, but for the next few months until we get to the next season. For everyone, emotions are running high, and how they play out are going to depend on the relationship between what the self wants, that's the Aries side of the equation, and what the relationships might require, that's the Libra side of the equation. And full moons represent harvest time. And so that's a moment for things to come to fruition that have been bubbling a long time. So you can see where I'm going here, Amanda. It's time to start thinking about harvest time and what this relates to in sense of our emotional accountability.
It reminds me of a conversation I had with a friend the other day. We went for a walk and she is going through a very, very painful divorce. There's kids involved and infidelity on his side and lots of processing that she's been going through. And one of the things that she was speaking, and this has to do with harvest, is, this has been going on for about a year and a half. And she told me a story about how the other day her children brought up, there was infidelity and a new baby on the scene. So just to make it even more dramatic. And how one of her children brought up the name of the new woman in the picture, and how a year and a half ago, just the name alone would make her blood boil and would make her feel rageful, and she would get all flustered and it would affect her for hours. Now, when the children bring up the name of the woman and talk about the scenario at the other home, she's able to much more peacefully hear the information, kind of detach herself from it a little bit, not have the full-on emotional reaction. And I just stopped her. We were on the walk and I said, think about that. Like, that is huge progress. You have made you've done some massive healing and done some huge releasing to be able to have the same exact situation come up that would have come up a year and a half ago and thrown you off. But today you can go through it with relative ease. Take a moment to celebrate that. That's part of the harvest, is actually paying attention to what are the things that you have grown, what things have matured, what seeds did you plant in the ground that have actually come to fruition, and take a moment to enjoy them and celebrate them. I think so many times we skip over this step. And so we don't realize that we're making so much more progress than we're giving ourselves credit for. So maybe you can do that in your life. Take a moment to take stock of the harvest of the things that you've been wanting to build. Maybe it was even some of the intentions you set at the new year. And where are they at today? And how have they grown? And how can you celebrate that, even if it's just by acknowledging? What do you do, Donna? What thoughts do you have there?
I think it's a great reminder that every time there's a full moon, it is an opportunity to celebrate, Thanksgiving for the month. That a gratitude practice goes a long way. So I try to, when things are hard, I try to find the silver lining. Sounds too trite, but more the learning, the benefit that I'm going to take away from it. I've been in some pretty traumatic experiences in my life and had to go through the full post-traumatic stress disorder therapy programs. And, out of the most important lesson for me in that growth process is to recognize that I'm going to be different on the other side, and I'm going to be stronger on the other side. And I may not have wished it on myself, but it makes me more compassionate for the clients that I work with, for the people in my life. And that's something that I cherish, even in the midst of dark things.
So what else is the March equinox?
Oh, well, of course, we have to celebrate, talking about celebrating, it's also International Astrology Day. It is the 26th annual International Astrology Day on Thursday. And how awesome is that? I think someone, maybe Astrology Hub, should make some e-cards so that we can all send it out to our friends and wish them love and celebration of the stars on our own day. There's a day for everything, because I know I like sharing the astrology love. All right, so on to Thursday. Love gets some pretty mixed signals on Thursday, as well as some time to cool off. So Venus is squaring off with Mars, which can add some spice or bite to the sexual tension. So think a rom-com in which the romantic leads don't like each other very much, but end up together in the end anyway. It may not last forever, but it's always fun to watch the sparks when the stars collide. On to the weekend forecast. Remember I said last week we had the crazy energy of Uranus in the mix, well, we've got a reprise. So you might feel like you're going back for more on Friday night. The moon's tangling with Uranus again, but this time the moon's in very intense Scorpio instead of playful Leo. So whereas last weekend it was more fun and games and surprises, this time there's more of a predatory vibe involved. In other words, people play for keeps tonight. So definitely watch it. If you're out for adventure, keep your eyes wide open. And on Saturday, nothing's happening. Nothing, at least astrologically. So there are no major aspects perfecting. That means becoming exact for 27 hours. That's over a day. So I call days like this wild card days. Now, the moon's in Scorpio, which is intense on its own. So maybe takes the opportunity to do some deep soul work.
Yes. And we have some ways that you can do that. If you haven't signed up for our free live soul purpose chart reading demos that are happening next week, March 26th and 27th, now's the time to do that. Maybe you could take the time on Saturday to actually register and reserve your spot. You go to astrologyhub.com/soul. And during that, you're going to see astrologers looking at specific points in people's charts and telling you how they would interpret that in terms of what the person's soul purpose is. And so for any of you who are feeling a little bit lost or just really want to get that soul purpose reinforced and get the confidence you need to move forward on your path in a way that feels as aligned as possible, tune into these live chart reading demos, because as you see other people's charts decoded, you're going to get insights into your own. Again, it's happening. It's free. And it's at March 26th and 27th. Go to astrologyhub.com/soul and reserve your spot now. Okay, Donna. So tell us about Saturday night and into Sunday.
Between Saturday night and Sunday morning, keep an eye out for some crazy dreams. So overnight, in the US at least, the moon trines retrograde Mercury and Neptune. And then when you wake up in the morning, Mercury is meeting Neptune a bit later in the day. So Sunday is another morning that you want to make sure your dream journal is handy. Or, I don't know about you, but sometimes waking up a little bit and then going back to sleep for like a little lazy lie-in and then getting up later can bring about a bunch of lucid dreams into my world. And the weather is perfect on Sunday morning to enjoy those lucid dreaming moments. Later in the day, Mars is going to be in opposition to the moon. And so that might be a good time to just roll up your sleeves and get something done, especially since in relationships, you might find folks stubbornly clinging to their own point of view. So why fight? Talk it out tomorrow when you can get a broader sense of the situation. There's a lot more optimism going around. Just use Sunday to, once again, do those things that have been pressing or weighing on you and get them out of the way so you can start the week fresh.
Okay, Donna. So we have another big week. We have an equinox. I'm doing the sum up. So my biggest takeaways for this week are, number one, the equinox. This has a karmic kind of feel to it. Well, actually the whole week does. So pay attention to what's happening both in your life and on the world stage. What's happening right now is setting the stage for the coming months. So just pay attention to the themes and the storylines that are unfolding. And take responsibility for your role in whatever that is in your own life. The second takeaway is we also have a full moon. So this is a great time to harvest, to reflect, to celebrate, to take a moment to enjoy and give thanks for the things that are coming to bear fruit in your life. And then the third thing is for this weekend, a good time to do some soul work. If you are finding yourself with some arguments happening on Sunday, maybe just table them and know that you'll have a broader, bigger perspective in which to revisit them on Monday. So maybe don't go into it as much. And with that said, we hope that you have a beautiful, wonderful week. Thank you so much for tuning in, for being a part of our community, and for making astrology a part of your life. This week on Thursday, we're actually going to be doing something very special. We are releasing 2 episodes. These 2 episodes are super, super powerful, all related to your soul's path and continuing that series from this whole month. So great information for those of you who are looking for information about your life, about your path, about why you're here in this incarnation. Just some of the simple questions in life. But these two do such a wonderful job in helping you get some clarity, get some direction, and absolutely get some inspiration. One last reminder before we sign off, please sign up for the free live soul purpose chart reading demo happening next week, March 26th and 27th. You can choose whichever day works for you. And they are about an hour long. And we will be watching astrologers find the specific points in the chart of live audience members and talking about what they mean in terms of that person's soul purpose. So check it out. You can reserve your free spot now, astrologyhub.com/soul. These are all live broadcasts, and I cannot wait to connect with you there. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on Thursday. Do you have questions about your unique path, your soul purpose? Do you ever wonder what to look for in the astrology chart to find the answers you're looking for about important choices you need to make? If so, you're officially invited to join us for a free live soul purpose chart reading demo on March 26th or 27th. During this special live event, we'll be looking at audience members' charts and asking 4 astrologers to decode different aspects of the chart as it relates to soul purpose. If you want to watch these live soul purpose chart readings, you can reserve your spot now by going to astrologyhub.com/soul. Shamanic astrologer Tammy Brunk will be translating the message of the moon's placement. Nadia Shah will look at the moon's south and north node. Stormy Grace will interpret the sun sign as it relates to soul purpose, and Divine Harmony will share the messages of the Saturn placement. Watch these experts translate the language of the stars and get insights into your chart and your soul purpose. Join us now at astrologyhub.com/soul. Again, that's astrologyhub.com/soul. I cannot wait to see you there. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Astrology Hub podcast. We can't wait to continue exploring with you and bringing you astrology's most practical wisdom so you can live your life on purpose. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Hi, this is Chris Kaplan, the producer of the Astrology Hub podcast. This episode is over, but check the show notes for links to products and services you've heard about during this episode. And if you enjoyed our show, please subscribe and rate using the subscribe button wherever you listen to your podcasts.